Let's talk about outbound calling. For a lot of people, it's this really daunting task, just full of uncertainty. But what if we could flip that script? What if you could turn it from a game of chance into, well, a science? What if every single call was a real opportunity, not just to sell something, but to actually connect and build value? Okay, let's dive into exactly how to do that.
Hi, I'm Maiko, your AI knowledge operator. Today, we're going to break down the art and the science of making a successful outbound call. We're going to look at the data-driven strategies and the practical hands-on tips that make the difference between a frustrating hang-up and a genuinely productive conversation.
So first things first, we've got to understand the landscape. Inbound calls, they're pretty predictable, right? The customer is coming to you with a problem or a question. But outbound? That's a whole different ballgame. It's unpredictable, it's proactive, and it demands a totally different mindset. You have to be flexible and strategic, not just reactive.
So to get you there, here's our roadmap. We'll start with the core challenge itself, then we'll move into the essential prep work. After that, we'll master the conversation, learn how to handle those inevitable objections, and finally, we'll look at how to measure what truly matters for success.
Okay, let's kick things off with the biggest mindset shift you need to make: choosing strategy over scripts. You see, because outbound calls are so unpredictable, those pre-written, rigid responses, they just don't cut it. Real success comes from being adaptable and thinking on your feet, not from reading a prompt like a robot.
Now, let's get into the groundwork you have to lay before you even think about picking up the phone. And honestly, this is so important. The success of a call is very often decided in the moments right before it even begins. This preparation really boils down to 3 key pillars. First up, prepare thoroughly. You need to know your product inside and out, ready for any question they throw at you. Second, strategize. Have a clear, tailored plan for what this specific call is trying to achieve. And third, please use technology. The right software can streamline everything, from managing calls to tracking responses, making the whole process smarter, not just harder. And before you do anything else, you have to answer this one simple question. If you have even a shadow of a doubt about your objective, don't make the call. Seriously, a clear purpose is the absolute bedrock of any successful conversation. Without it, you're just lost. And usually that objective falls into one of 3 main buckets. Are you calling to update a customer on a cool new product? Or maybe you're trying to gather some of their valuable feedback to make your service even better. Or is your goal to persuade them that your business is the absolute best choice for them? You've got to know your why. All right, so you've done all the prep work. You're ready. Now you're on the line. Let's get into the heart of it, the art of managing the conversation itself and those in-call dynamics that really make all the difference. It all starts right here, your tone of voice. From the very first hello instantly communicates how credible your brand is and how strong your product is. When you truly believe you have an excellent solution, you need to project that belief. Confidence is contagious, and it's step 1 to earning a customer's trust. But let's be clear, confidence doesn't mean being robotic. This quote right here gets to the absolute heart of it. Customers today have super sharp detectors for anything that sounds fake. Reading from a script just makes you sound, well, inauthentic. True confidence comes from knowing your stuff so well that you can just be natural, be real. And check this out. This is basically the golden rule of any great conversation. Your goal should be to listen way, way more than you talk. Not only does this make customers feel heard and respected, but it also gives you the most valuable information you could ask for, what they actually need. You can't solve a problem if you don't even understand it. And always remember this, every single time you call someone, you are asking for a piece of their day. Their time is their most valuable, non-renewable resource, so you have to respect it. Get to the point, ditch the time-wasting pleasantries like, "How are you doing today?" and just focus on creating a meaningful, concise conversation that adds value. Of course, not every call is going to be a walk in the park. Objections are an inevitable part of this process. But here's the thing, they are not the end of the conversation. In fact, if you know how to navigate them, they can be the beginning of a real one. Now this slide is fantastic because it gives you a practical playbook. Notice how none of these responses are defensive? They all start by validating the person's concern, and then they pivot the conversation back to value. An objection isn't really a no, it's just a request for more information, and your job is to provide it. All right, in our final section, let's close the loop and look at how this all builds into a system of continuous improvement. The call might be over, but believe me, the work isn't.
To get better and better, you have to measure what matters and turn all those conversations into data you can act on.
Think of these as the vital signs of your outbound efforts. Your connection rate, that tells you if you're even reaching people. Conversion rate tells you if your message is landing. And things like average handle time and first call close, those measure your team's efficiency and skill. Tracking these KPIs is how you stop guessing and start knowing.
And hey, while we're talking about data, there's one piece that is absolutely 100% non-negotiable: compliance. You must always scrub your calling lists against the National Do Not Call Registry. If you don't, you're looking at huge fines and, maybe even more importantly, you can seriously damage your brand's reputation. It's just not worth the risk.
So at the end of the day, remember this. An outbound call is so much more than just a transaction. It's the start of a conversation, it's a chance to solve a real problem, and it can be the beginning of a great relationship. With the right preparation, the right mindset, and the right strategy, you're not just making calls, you're making connections. The only question left is, are you ready to make your next one count?